Hey, it's Marek. Today's recording is a bit unusual. I'm recording it from my office, not from home where I usually record the podcasts. I came back from Poland just yesterday, early morning, and oh my gosh, on Sunday, the day before just now. So yesterday is the word for the day before just now. Yesterday we had a massive storm here in Brisbane, hailstorm, lots of rain, lots of hail. I ended up having to chop down a couple of trees, but most importantly, we have no power. And so I'm unable to do the recording at home, which is very apt because I wrote a post entitled, "Does it work in a cave?" all about the world of technologies that simply are unavailable when the internet is down. And here I am, not being able to record the podcast at home. The title of the post is "Does it work in a cave?" The question that exposes broken product design. So let's go through it. On October 20th at 3 a.m., thousands of 8 Sleep customers woke up trapped in $2,000 beds that had turned into saunas. No way to cool down, no way to recline, no override. Can you imagine that? You buy a bed, you pay a couple of $1,000s for it, and then suddenly it just stops working. Now, the pod is 8 Sleep's cloud connected mattress cover with water cooled coils. It adjusts your bed's temperature throughout the night. That is, it should. But Amazon Web Services was down in Virginia and the beds had forgotten how to be beds. Yes, people couldn't sleep because a server went down. One user's bed locked itself 9 degrees above room temperature. Another was stuck tilted. A third watched their system flip on and off randomly, unable to stop it. They had to unplug the entire thing. And so the CEO scrambled on Twitter and wrote, "We will work the whole night." No pun intended there. "We will work the whole night plus 24/7 to build an outage mode." They're building an outage mode for a bed. A bed didn't have an outage mode. This product sends 16 gigabytes of data to the cloud every month, but cannot remember stay cool for 3 hours without AWS. But it's not just beds. 8 Sleep wasn't alone. And you might have heard about the whole AWS issue last week. During the same AWS outage, Ring video doorbells went dark for 13 plus hours. One Reddit user reported their Blink camera missed an attempted arson at their home. The camera was there, the arsonist was there, AWS wasn't. People couldn't turn off the lights in their own homes, Alexa was offline. In cases unrelated to the AWS outage, my IKEA smart bulbs occasionally self-upgrade their firmware, and when they do, they switch off. Imagine that. I'm having a dinner with my wife, quite romantic. Suddenly the room goes dark. She might think it's because I wanted it to be romantic. Turns out it's because the firmware needs to be upgraded. Speaking of, my wife's just texting me. That was the beep there. So let me just turn it on silent so it doesn't disrupt us. Let's hope it works. See, that's what happens when I'm trying to record it somewhere else. Back to the text though. One Subaru owner sat in a mall parking lot for 5 minutes, unable to turn off his 2024 Subaru Crosstrek because it was updating. We just made internet dependent. Sleeping at a comfortable... let's try that again. We just made internet dependent. 1. Sleeping at a comfortable temperature. 2. Seeing who's at your door. 3. Turning off lights. 4. Turning off your car. Sleeping used to be something you could do in a cave. Now it requires AWS US East 1 in Northern Virginia. What's happening here? Let's call it the cave test. Think of it like jobs to be done, but in reverse. So jobs to be done. Clayton Christensen taught us to ask, what job is the customer hiring this product to do? The cave test asks, what job could humans do before this product existed and still must work when servers go down? Call it the offline job, the fundamental function that should work in a cave without internet, without servers, without updates. For a bed, the offline job would be regulate body temperature for sleep, and people did this for millennia with blankets, fans, and open windows. For a video doorbell, like Blink mentioned earlier on, see who's at your door. I know doorbell is for ringing, right? Well, no, not anymore. Video doorbells are for seeing who's at your door. People did this by looking through windows, opening doors, and asking, who's there? For a light, illuminate a space. People did this with candles, oil lamps, and sunlight. For a car, drive, start, stop. People did this with mechanical keys and switches. For glasses, see. That technology, lenses, existed long before the internet. Then there's the online job, right? We talked about the offline job, now's the online job. Everything the smart features add on top of the offline job. AI sleep optimization, cloud recording, automated updates, remote control. The online job is valuable, but it should never hold the offline job hostage. What I mean by that, my smart glasses have AI, cameras, and audio. When the tech fails, I can still see. The offline job, the lenses, works independently of the online job, the smart features. When smart features fail, at least I can still see. 8 Sleep fused the jobs. No separation, no fallback. They optimized so aggressively for cloud intelligence that they accidentally recorded sleeping, an offline job, as an online service, or recoded that job. The Subaru made it worse. The online job, updating, actively prevented the offline job, turning off. So, 3 questions. Before you launch your next product, any product really, any service or feature, any feature, ask, 1. What's the offline job? What's the fundamental function that existed before your technology? For 8 Sleep, that'd be sleeping comfortably. For Ring, seeing who's there. What's that job for your product? Number 2, does it pass the cave test? Can someone still do the offline job when your servers go down or when they're actively working on updates? Would it work in a cave? 3, if AWS went offline for 3 hours, what stops working? If the answer is the offline job, you failed the cave test. Now, build the part that works in a cave first. Then add the part that needs AWS or any online service, really. Keep them separate. Make sure the online job never holds the offline job hostage. Because sleeping, like seeing, like having light, like turning off your car, was never supposed to require a server in Virginia to work. What offline job in your life now requires a server in Virginia? So that's the post this time. When I was writing it, after I published it, I remember that one case when my kids were late to school because my car decided to apply that long overdue firmware update that I kept delaying. And then it took it, I think, about 40 minutes to just go through the whole update cycle while my kids were waiting there anxiously to be able to get into the car and to be able to drive to school. Now, I had no idea how long it would take. Initially, I thought it would take 10 minutes, then it was 20, then it was 40. Imagine trying to write a letter to school explaining why your kids were late. So, look, my podcast recording would probably work in a cave, as in if I brought some spare battery packs, I could record my podcast at home in my man cave, if you will, but I wouldn't be able to upload it. So I had to do it at work while I'm still here. So that's what I'm doing right now. Once I'm done, once I've uploaded and scheduled the podcast, I'll be driving back home, grabbing a chainsaw, and cutting some trees. because that's what sometimes you have to do after it hails. Stay curious.